Now, thanks for staying with us. Humanity's relationship with technology is changing faster than ever, with artificial intelligence having an ever greater influence on our lives. Movies like Her and Blade Runner and TV shows like Westworld have painted a pessimistic view of where that could ultimately lead us.
But could robots instead become a force for good, living among us? On tonight's episode of The Great Guide to the Future, Jonathan McCrea went for breakfast with a family in Japan who have a live-in robot.
It's normal for us all to have breakfast together. But of course, Pepper's food is electricity. So I give him electricity at every meal. And then I unplug him when we're finished. The first time I felt that Pepper was more than just a machine was when he came to our home. I saw something human-like in him. When I opened the box he came in, he fell against me. He leaned against me. To me, that moment was almost like the birth of a child.
Wow. That is extraordinary. Jonathan McCrea joins us on the show now. That is incredible. I wish I could unplug my kids, by the way. It would make life a lot easier. That's a humanoid android.
Yeah.
How human is that humanoid?
Well, the company claims that it has emotional intelligence, that it can recognize emotions on people's faces, it can follow you, and it can take basic voice commands. And it's remarkable where we are, considering how far away we were from this maybe 15 years ago. We're now at a stage where artificial intelligence is sitting on the boards of companies. There's a company called Deep Horizons that has Deep Ventures that has a robot on its board.
Wow.
There are robots that can recognize our emotions and communicate with us, like Pepper. And there's robots that are actually helping sort out our systems, do recommending of products across online stores.
Yeah.
So the intelligence and the ability to solve problems is changing every single day, and I think Pepper is a simple example of that. But what's really interesting about that clip is that Tomimo there really bonded with Pepper in a way that we would find a little bit strange.
It's not just about doing jobs and, as you say, sitting on boards and processing information. That was an emotional, those are emotional things she was talking about.
Yeah, and that seems strange to us, I think. But in Japan, they have this ancient sort of religion, Shinto, where they see inanimate objects as the same as animate objects. So there's no difference between a thing or a person or an animal, which is why I think they've crossed that barrier much quicker than us. But I was down at the Humans Need Not Apply exhibition in the Science Gallery in Dublin, right?
Oh, God.
And I saw this, which is an exhibition in Dublin where they actually are showing how robots are taking over of humans in various jobs. And I borrowed this robot. So this is a robot called Cosmo, and I brought it home just to see how my son interacted with it. So Cosmo, it has some of these AI features. So it's not a remote control robot. He's a very cute little fella.
Right.
Good morning.
He's waking up there, right?
Yeah, he's waking up. And so Cosmo has artificial intelligence built in, so he can actually recognize faces. So if I put him here, hopefully he might behave. Can you see me? Hi, Cosmo. Jonathan.
Very good.
So this is a robot that's that size that can already recognize my face, but
You
it also
programmed him to recognize you.
you know, the program asks you. I've seen one of these blocks now. He's going to lift this block. You want to lift the block, Cosmo? Yeah. Go on. So
I love you're just talking to him like he's
He's going to go. He's going to lift the block. So he's going to do a wheelie for us. Oh, this is a new trick. So he's just learned this. Is how to do a little wheelie. So the point of this robot is that it can do things on its own. It can sense its environment, it can recognize people, and that creates a new layer of interaction. And I think we are underestimating robots in that way. My son, he's 5 years old. He plays games against Cosmo. When Cosmo loses, he gets sad.
Yeah.
And my son, you should see his face. He's actually upset because he sees a personality in this thing.
There's a concept called the singularity, Jonathan, which is where in a certain point on the horizon, I reckon it's about 25, 26 years away now, where robots and humans have the differences between us will be invisible, more or less, and that they will be injecting robots into us to do our medicine and all the rest. What you're showing us here, what we've seen on the BT there, is showing us coming a step closer to that. And the rate at which it's happening is what's really mind-boggling, the speed at which technology is developing now.
Yes, and you talk about the singularity, but when you think about it now, we are already sort of cyborgs. We have a phone in our pocket that we use to connect with the outside world. It gives us an ability to communicate in a way we never have. And actually, you know, this idea of nomophobia, that you can't go anywhere without your mobile phone. We've become part man, part machine.
It's like a hard drive, you know, so much of our information is stored in this thing that's always on our person.
Yeah, like a relationship with robots, we think, oh, we couldn't do that. But actually, you know, we feel very emotionally connected to these things when we lose them.
Tell us about the professor you met who has essentially cloned himself with a kind of an android.
Yeah, so Tokyo is a fascinating place, and in it you'll see some of the very unusual types of people you might meet in the episode, which is on tonight on B3. The professor Ishiguro, we went down to Osaka by bullet train to meet him, and he is a fascinating guy. He created a number of different androids that look very much like human beings. We meet Erica on the program. He has made one that looks just like himself, as you can see there. And these things are freaky. They're very, very lifelike.
Yeah.
And the question is, once something looks that realistic and can have a conversation with us that sounds like a human conversation, Alan Turing's question back in the 50s was, what's the difference?
Well, fundamentally,
he sends this guy to lecture instead of him.
On his behalf. But fundamentally, like, our brains are computers. They're sent, you know, messages being sent around, and as Ian says, it's getting to the point where, you know, computers can replicate the technology involved in the brain. So what's left? Is it some idea of a soul that we may have had?
God, we're getting heavy on Sunday morning.
Well, yeah, but
you're absolutely right.
Sunday morning is the perfect time to get heavy.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. You know, if we think about it, what is a human mind if it's not software running on the hardware of our bodies?
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That's
Heavy man.
And that's the question that we're asking is, you know, we think of this having a girlfriend as a robot or as a computer program. It's so crazy. But if it gives us what we need...
Where's the harm in that?
And puts us all out of a job.
Well, you know, that's the other thing.
I'm looking forward as well watching it tonight on B3 at 7 o'clock, am I right?
Yeah.
And meeting Hatsune Miku, who is a holographic pop star. Is that right?
Yes. So Hatsune Miku is a fictional pop star that doesn't exist, and yet she outsells many performers in Japan. She supported Lady Gaga in New York, and basically she is created by her fans. And so the songs that she played, they create Vocaloid songs. And we go to meet, there's a great scene in the show where we go to meet some otaku who are basically fanboys in Japan. There's various cults of otaku, and she meets this. We meet this group of guys in a underground car park who are huge fans.
And she never throws a diva
You
stop
just
either.
took my line. How dare you?
Right, cheers, Jonathan. Looking forward to that.